Alright, so I'm going to enter this data in my calculator. Hopefully you got your book there, or you can just look this, pause it if you need to. I've already entered the data in my calculator, but of course you may not be as fast as I am at typing, so just go ahead and pause the video and get it all entered in your calculator. List 1 would be for the time, list 2 would be for the depth. It says a boy measured the depth of the water in the bathtub at 1-minute intervals after the faucet was turned on. His data are below. Okay, so it says use a statistics utility. That's not like Batman's utility belt. Okay, that's a fancy way to say the graphing calculator, to draw a scatter plot of the data and then a regression line. Okay, so we're going to, let's see here. So we got all our data entered in. We can draw a scatter plot. Remember, that's second, and then the y equals button first for stat plot. And then we are going to make sure that we turn it to the on position. If you don't turn that on, then I think this book is making it a little difficult to see my calculator. Make sure it's turned on. We want scatter plot right there, the very first one, and we use the lists that we typed all our information into. Okay, so that's just a reminder. We've done that before. We also need to zoom in on our statistics and create the correct window, so we hit the zoom button, and then of course we're using zoom number 9, zoom stat. Okay, so there's the data in a scatter plot form. Make sure you can get the correct window. Remember, that's zoom 9, zoom stat. Okay, now we're going to use the linear regression feature of our calculator because they asked us to do that. So we want to hit the stat button, go to the calculate feature at the top, and then the fourth one in our list, linear regression. Tell it which lists you want, separated by a comma, list 1, comma, list 2. And we'll copy this down once we, oh, it did not give me the correlation coefficient just like I wanted it to. So it did give me the slope of the line and the y-intercept, but I would really like it to give me the correlation coefficient also, so we're going to go to the catalog, which is above the 0. If you look above the 0, it says catalog. So second catalog, and the alpha lock is already on, so that means all of the letters are active on my calculator. So for instance, I see the letter D right there on this button on my calculator, so I'm going to press that. It'll jump down to the D's, and then I can look for diagnostic on. Okay, diagnostic on. And when I hit enter, it says done. Now, you don't realize this, but it's turned on a feature which will now give me the correlation coefficient when I do that linear regression again. So, stat, calculate, linear regression, list 1, comma, list 2. Now, I could have used the feature like we've done before. Let me clear that out and show you. Second enter, remember it brings up the previous calculator instruction, then second enter again brings the one before that. So I could have done that instead of going back through stat, calculate, L1, comma, L2. But it's going to do the same thing, and it's going to show me the slope and the y-intercept, but this time not only does it give me the correlation coefficient squared, which doesn't mean anything to me right now, but the correlation coefficient, 0.99, which should be telling me some information about how strong the data fits with the line, and that would be obviously a pretty good one, right? So anyway, and you should probably look in your book. It has a great picture at the top of that page kind of describing what is good and what is not good. Okay, so we've been able to calculate this. Y equals 2.103. I'm going to write this down. Y equals 2.103. X minus 0.203. Okay, I'm rounding off to the thousandths place, and I can go in here and now type this. Y equals 2.103. X minus 0.203. Okay, so I've typed my equation in, rounded to the thousandths place, and when I go back to my graph, it will draw in that line of best fit through my data, and I can see how the data sits in relationship to the line. So we have used our graphing calculator to draw a scatter plot of the data and the regression line. Calculate the correlation coefficient. We are not going to go through that nasty, ugly, formula that's on the previous page for correlation coefficient. We can let the honors kids worry about that, or we can AP stats. You can hurt yourself with that, but we'll just use the graphing calculator to come up with correlation coefficient. You need to understand what it is and how to interpret it. Describe the relationship between time and depth and comment on the quality of the linear model. Okay, that's what you need to be able to look at the correlation coefficient and say what you think about the relationship between time and depth, and in this case 0.99, really close to 1, and as we see from the picture, 1 is perfect. Okay, so is -1, by the way, but I hope you figured that out on your own. Okay, and that's enough for example 3.